3, 2,
All right, so we're live.
1.
Boom. Oh, there you go. Kicking it live. Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is Fernan Jimenez, this is Aisha Wakas, and Tina. Tina, what's your last name? I didn't get your last name.
Warren.
Warren. Welcome.
Yes.
We're having a hangout this Saturday. We are all network marketers. We are all online entrepreneurs, and we're here to share with you today tips, strategies, challenges, and whatever we can to help you and help ourselves keep this journey going. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how do you trust people, right? How do you establish trust? What is your trusting strategy, right? Because trust is going to get us in a lot of trouble, all right? So I'll tell you 2 seconds about myself. I'm an eye doctor, but I decided that I did not want to be stuck inside of a room doing eye exams for the rest of my life. And I decided that, you know what, I want to be master of my time and my finances. I didn't want anybody to tell me how much to make, when I could have lunch, what time to go work and come back. So I went crazy. I quit my job, and now I'm doing online marketing, and now I'm meeting people just like me, and we're making magic happen. Okay? So that's a little bit about me. I'm gonna yield the floor to the rest of my team. Who's gonna take it out?
Go for it.
Aisha, go for it.
Go on, Tina.
Aisha, tell us a
You
little
can
bit about
go.
yourself.
Okay, I can go. I'm the mother of 5 children. I have
Right.
2 children that are out of state, so my priority is to get money so that I can travel and see them. And doing it at home, I'm able to stay home with the other children. So that's pretty much why I'm online, getting a networking business going.
Excellent. Excellent.
Cool. Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
I am Aisha. Hello, everyone. I have 2 children, 2 girls, nightmares, but you know, them are girls, you know. And I got curious. I wanted to know, can you make money online? And obviously Google answered, yes, you can. So one thing led to another, and I discovered that I enjoy helping others, and I will go out of my way just to help someone, you know, solve a problem of theirs. And network marketing seemed like a perfect match for myself, and here we are.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So yeah, today we're gonna talk a little bit about trust, and you know, and for us, it's something very important because we're basically talking to people all day. We're reaching out to people all day, right? And the majority of times, a lot of the people that we're talking to, like for example, Aisha's in the UK. All right, Tina, where are you?
I'm
Situated?
in Utah, U.S.
You're in the U.S. Okay, I'm in the U.S. too. I'm in Illinois, right? I'm in one of the northwestern suburbs in Illinois. And look, so how is it that we were able to communicate? We're nowhere near. And how is it that we're able to communicate? And how is it that we're able to trust each other, right? And how is it that every time that we reach out and talk to people, right? How is it that we establish? Because without the trust, nothing's gonna happen. So that's what we want to address today. We want to talk about how is it what we're doing, what our strategy is, and also how you can establish trust with people, right, when you meet them. You know, because that's the whole point right there. All right. So, who wants to start it out? Who wants to give us some tips?
Okay,
Hot potato time.
I will start. Oh God, I don't know why my phone keeps going blank. Okay, trust. One of the things that, you know, that's going to help you gain trust or build trust is finding some common ground. Excuse me. The 3 of us, we are all network marketers, so we have something there. You know, we have a common ground, and then if we find, or if we go in depth on what we do, or you know, what we are using, a platform or something, and then yeah, we are all using the same platform as well, regardless of what business we are building. So we have that next level of trust amongst ourselves. So I guess finding some form of common ground or some form of a connection with someone, a mutual connection, that helps a lot in building trust or gaining someone's trust. What do you think?
Very true.
Yes, it
Very
is true.
true. It really boils down to communication skills, right? I mean, in sales, and everything, it all boils down to communication skills. And you're totally right. I like to look at it like it's when I'm talking to somebody, if I don't understand their vision, if I can't see what it is that they want to do, then
Mhm.
how am I going to be able to establish trust? How am I going to be able to establish a rapport? And sometimes it's tricky because sometimes the people that we talk to, they don't have a vision, right? Or
Mhm.
their vision, not that they don't have a vision, but it's not clear, right? So you talk to people and you're like, why are you doing this? And they're like, oh, I just want to make money, right? And that's
Yeah.
just so not clear, right? And so,
Mhm.
so sometimes what you got to do is you got to help the person see their vision, right? Because once they see it, now you are like, hey, check this out. In this vision that you have, you're gonna have these challenges, right? And how are you gonna go through it? And
Mhm.
basically, it's all about setting rapport, right? And I was just telling both of them earlier that I'm probably the worst person that could be an example of trust because I trust everybody. I get myself in so much trouble, right? But like Tina was saying, there's certain flags, red flags that you start to learn and you start to identify, and then you don't fall so victim to it. Tina, can you expand on that
Mhm.
a little bit? What we were talking earlier about the trusting people too much.
With the red flag, it's the way that people communicate. You can see it if they're not a level person all of the time. You can see a variation in their personality. Then you know that they're trying to be somebody with you that they're not on a regular basis. You
Wow.
know, that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
hard, and it takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of practice, being able to see these subtleties, being able to see patterns in people, right? And it also takes a lot of with yourself too. I mean, I really believe that the foundation of trust first has to start with the individual, right? If I don't
Right.
It is.
trust
Yeah.
myself, if I don't trust in what I'm doing, right? Which then how am I going to try to send that energy? That energy is going to be perceived by whoever I'm speaking with, right?
Mhm.
And and usually what I find is like, especially because lately what I've been trying to do with my business is I've been trying to work a lot with offline businesses. So I've been reaching out to walking into businesses and just getting to know the people and talking to them, right? And I've
Mhm.
noticed that if I don't walk in there and if I don't try to set up a rapport, if I just go in there gung ho and saying I'm here to sell advertising, there's no way that cannot have. There's no trust, right?
Yeah.
And then in the online market, in the online arena, we'll have people that will reach out to us because we're putting out content, so it's evident that we're in this game, right? And they reach out and they just want to pitch at us. They just want to shove their opportunity down our throats, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, get to know me. How do you know I
Mhm.
need that, right?
Yeah.
True.
And
They
that's
haven't
Yeah.
got to
That's
know you.
true.
and
That's true.
and
Yeah.
that's the secret. Now,
Um.
what would be your tips on how to establish trust with somebody, like from a person trying to approach someone? What would be some recommendations that you could suggest?
I would say first to be open. You need
Do
to
you know?
be yourself when you communicate with people and not just be like the other people that are throwing a link at you. You want
Right.
to show them that you're a real person.
Exactly. Most definitely.
Do you know? I think it all comes down to yourself. You know. What does someone do or what does someone say that makes you trust them?
Right.
And what you do and what you say that makes the other person trust you, if that makes sense. Because it made sense in my head when I was thinking about it. Um, for instance, I posted in a Facebook group today, and me being me, I got quite a lot of engagement on that post. And a gentleman, he commented, so are you trying to get us to join, like an internet marketing system? And I basically said to him, it depends on what you're looking for. Because at the end of the day, I can sell anything to anyone, but if it's not what someone's looking for, and then
Exactly.
it's pointless, it's useless, you know. So if the other person isn't going to open up slightly, and then you're going to have troubles, and the only way to do that is to lower their guard. And how do we do that? Well, I gave one example in my Facebook live video today, the yes strategy. You know, that's one way of lowering the guard, because that's the main thing. You want them to you want to be approachable, and if you're approachable, then someone will easily want to come to talk to you, because they know that you're easy to talk to. You know, they feel that they can connect with you. You know, you've got some common ground, maybe same amount of kids or same type of work schedule you do, or just anything. They're more likely to talk to you. I don't know where I read it or what I saw, but when someone's living in the same town as yourself, you trust that person more compared to someone who lives in a different town.
Yeah. Politics is local. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that. I was thinking of some trust, maxims, right? And I was noticing that really it all boils down to the decisions you take. It takes a lot of time sometimes to establish trust with somebody. It takes days, it takes conversations, but it takes one lie, it takes one inaccuracy to kill it. And basically it's one wrong decision. So it's all about your decisions, And then another thing is too, you gotta stand for something, right? I remember there was one trainer that once said, you gotta stand for something or you gotta stand against something, right? But you gotta take a stand, right? And because people need a leader. People are looking for someone to lead. People. And so that's where you have to step into your greatness, and you have to stand up and say, look, this is it. You have to commit to something, right? Another thing I noticed that good leaders do to establish trust is whenever anything goes bad, they stand up and they say they take full responsibility. They don't throw anybody under the bus, and that's why it's hard to be a leader, because a lot of leaders, they want to lead and they want to do everything, but when anything goes bad, they find the first, lame goat in the crew and throw them under the bus, right? But that's a real leader takes a bullet for the team, right? And so that's it's rough. You got to stand up, right? That's why a lot of people shy away from it. But
give me some water, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry. I was just telling my daughter to bring me some water. I'm charging the phone and I can't move. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Fernand. Many leaders, they will not own up to something, and they will never admit that they've done something wrong.
And that's detrimental. I don't care what type of team is. I don't care what type of results have. When that starts to happen, that's when it starts to crack.
Yeah.
And it's the little subtle crack that goes.
Do you know? Before what I started last year, I was part of a team, and the person who got me to join, he's a really good marketer, but instincts was telling me something else. But anyway, I joined, and I recruited some people, and what happened was, the owners of the program, they started making some changes, like like each month, once you hit a certain rank, you could upgrade another opportunity, and over time it would become 10 income streams, and your team would basically follow you throughout the whole 10 income streams. So what they did was they added that a $5 program or something, matrix thing. I can't remember what it was. They added that to it as well, and for me that raised red flags. I didn't like that at all, and me being me, I didn't do it. I basically said, no, that's just wrong. You can't just suddenly add something else and expect the whole team to jump in with it, because it could be the hot program at that time. So yes, I was like totally against it, and some of the other people that were there with us, I basically said, "Oh, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it." And people who know me, they know me for the integrity I have. They know that what I say is what I stand for. Do you know what happened to the program? It fizzled out.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
It
believe it.
literally fizzled out, and I thought, well, it's a good thing I didn't go ahead and, I think instincts play a huge, huge part with trust as well. If I learned to trust my instincts on the word go, I would have been so much better. But again, I'm so trustworthy. I'm so trustable. I trust anyone.
Yeah, you trust.
Oh my God, that's the three of us. If the three of us pair up when it comes to trust, we're going down. They're gonna take us down, huh?
Oh, yeah. For sure, yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh, God, so bad. But it
One.
didn't mean
Go ahead.
that I didn't have any inklings. It didn't mean that, my senses weren't up. My senses were there. They just weren't flashing red at that time, But when they
Mhm.
did flash red, it was because, okay, I really believe that, okay, it's not going to work out. I cancelled my account. I cancelled both accounts, even though I was earning residual income. I cancelled them both. I thought it's not worth it. I'm not going to
Wow.
join something else and have people underneath me join it as well. I said no.
Right.
So yeah.
That's wow. That's good. That's how it is. And you know what? At a universal level, that's going to open up. You got rid of that space, so you can open up something better to come into that space. I mean,
Mhm.
Great idea.
um. Let me see something else. Tina, what are some of your tips on how do you tell somebody if they're telling you, hey, I'm having trouble establishing trust with people. People just call, I could tell that they don't believe me. You know what I mean? How have you dealt with that when that's happened? You're trying to there you go, opportunity with somebody.
My mind goes blank right now. Sorry.
And you know what? That's 100% all right. And that's why we do this, right? We do this because what do you do, right? What do you do in these situations? What I've noticed too, like for example, in Aisha's case, where she was talking about this company that just happened before,
Hmm.
um, when people trust you as the leader, in that example, the best way that you could establish some good trust is to do good, solid coaching, right? Teach
Sure.
them the right things. Always be, because I've noticed I've joined some companies and where my upline, they don't tell me the strategies that they're using, right?
Right.
They tell me they're like previous strategies, right? So I was always trying to catch up, right? Until one day I heard a phone call that I wasn't supposed to hear, and I was hearing all the new strategies that they were talking about, and they were specifically saying, "Don't tell so and so, or don't tell the people. We're gonna do it so that we succeed." And I was just like, "What?" I was
That's
like,
really,
"That's
yeah.
crazy."
That's sad.
Oh
That
God.
lacks integrity for sure.
Double standards some people have. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
I was just like, "Really?" I was like, "Okay, that's how you find it out." And
But
I mean, go ahead.
go on. Go on.
I mean, and so this is for everybody. I heard it the other day. I heard it so beautifully. Someone said, if you if you're not embarrassed or if you don't want anybody to know what you do behind closed doors, then you
Hmm.
have then you got to square something away with yourself, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, we all should, you should be living, especially if you're in a leadership position, if you're trying to make stuff happen, if you're trying to do what we're doing, right, if you're trying to bring value to the world, right? You should be in your mind living in a glass house, right? So that
Yeah.
you should be living so that, okay, so can everybody see my movements so that I'm really backing up what I'm saying? Because it's hard. You have a lot of people that get on
Yeah.
stage, get on these hangouts, they talk this great game, they promise all this stuff, but then they go and they believe in throwing everybody under the bus. They believe in short-term success. They don't believe in long-term success. And that's
Yeah.
another thing. You want to establish trust. Focus on the people. Focus on their vision, on their long-term success, rather than your short-term gain. You know, and
Yeah.
Do you
that's
know what
gonna
I
that's gonna
actually think? I actually think that they're not in this to help people. They are only in this to make money. That's it, quick money, and get more people to join them because they see that they have results and they can make more money.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a farmer that keeps bringing in, sheep. No, I don't want that. I want my sheep to go and, cattle and graze and everything on their own. And
right.
Yeah.
these leaders, when they do stuff like this, I mean, like I said, I've experienced it firsthand. the same person approached me again and saying, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I basically said to him, right, pass. I said to him, no, because I know that he is going to message, because people are already trusting him and he's got a following. People are all going to flock up to him. So what did I start doing? I started putting up a post like, oh, I refuse to be the sheep. I refuse to follow the herd and this and that. Why are so-called marketers, jumping from one program to the other and taking the sheep with them, and they're blind? They're following them blindly. Why are they doing that? I basically put all sorts of posts at that time last year, and it was like hilarious. People were like, yeah, you're so right. And I was like, but it's true, you know. Oh, they make my skin boil, they do. They probably make me angry, they do. I don't know how they sleep at night, to be honest. I just,
It's because they're after numbers and not after real followers, right?
Exactly.
Pardon?
I said they're after the numbers and not after followers that will continue to follow them.
Exactly. Right.
I'm not sure if it's the numbers, though. I think they're just after the money. They don't care who's following, or they don't care what that person's going through, what their situation is. They just care about themselves and continue to show people, oh, this is the lifestyle I live, you know, bigging it up. And they could be living like a crap, but what does the other person know? They don't know anything. All they know is they've got, you know, he's a leader. He knows what he's doing. I'm going to follow him left, right, and center.
Most definitely.
The more followers is the more money that they get. Join the numbers game too.
Yeah.
100%. It's rough. It all boils down to the communication, right? It all boils down to resolving the internal situation rather than the external. A lot of people try to just do the external, but they don't do the integrity with themselves, right? I think the number one, if you ever want to start with trust, number one thing you got to do is stand in front of the mirror, right? Stand in front of the mirror and have a session with yourself and say, hey, what do I stand for? What is my vision? What do I want to do, right? And once you do that, then when you go out to the world and you start talking to people, you know, you'll realize that you're centered, right? It's like if you're on a boat in the ocean, you're not floating in the ocean. I had someone reach out to me the other night, and they said, I want to work with you. I want to be on your team. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Good.
Now, back in the day, I would have gotten excited. I would have been jumping up for joy, and I would have thrown 50 million links at them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I'm like, what's your business? What do you do online? It's like, oh, no, I'm part of a new startup. It's a big demand. What's the fastest way for me to get on your team? Give me a link, right? So then I'm like, I mean, I can give you many links, but yeah, I'm like, I don't know what do you want? What do you want to do? Well, what I want to do is I want to make money. I'm like, oh, you could make money, but I mean, you know, no. And you're right. I realize I don't want to work with this type of person because I know that they're gonna come in, and if it doesn't happen fast, they're out. And then of course, before I even made that choice, I started asking them, what was the last program you had success in? Right? Oh, this program. Really? Okay. Oh, I know that program. That company's been around for 30 years. How long have you been with them? 1 week. Wow, 1 week. You're with this company 1 week and you've had massive success, but now you're promoting me another company, right? And I'm like, oh, and you know, and it's funny when people start pitching at me, right? I'm thinking, oh, okay, you want to play American baseball? Okay, let's play baseball. But what they don't realize is that they're gonna, you know, their answers are gonna either get them, you know, on the bases, or they're gonna strike them out, right? And you know, and so because that's what it is. You have to be, I know it sounds calculating, but time is precious, and you have to be qualified. You have to be able to, just like we're saying, hey, we got to establish trust with people, the same as with us. How do we also find out, can I trust this person again? And it's because of the questions, right? And you know how many people I've struck out? Jeez, it's so funny. And I'll even tell them, strike 3, you're out. Have a great day. Goodbye. But they don't, you know, sometimes they get upset. But you got to do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think you've got to sometimes lay your terms and conditions as well, because anyone who I approach now, I would have been, okay, yeah, you can join me, sure, fine, woohoo. But now I say, I want at least 6 months commitment from you. Can you do that? And they'll
Wow,
either
that's
say
good.
yes or a no. If they say no, then I'm sorry, this isn't for you. You know, I'm looking for someone who wants to build a long-term business. If you want a short-term business, go somewhere else.
Exactly. Exactly. That is good.
So yeah.
All right, so how are
There's
we doing time, my people? How are you guys doing? We got a little bit of time for some more stuff. What else do we got?
I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good, yeah.
beautiful. All right. Okay, so yeah, so that's what we talked about today. We talked about trust. It's all about the communication. It's all about
Mm.
also resolving trusting, learning to trust yourself too, right?
Mhm.
Um, being a right leader, being a good leader, finding a common
Yeah.
ground, being transparent, right? Coaching
Instincts
your
as
people,
well.
and
Yeah.
whenever anything goes bad, taking accountability. Every time
Mhm.
you blame something that happens in your life on somebody else, you're losing control. You're giving control
Yeah.
away to whatever it is. Every time you say it was my action, I take full responsibility for what happened, you are gaining control, and that goes into trust too. So I think you guys got some good little tools here on how to establish some trust. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to give an example of a trust scenario.
Hmm.
Um, you know, when children they first go to nursery, they don't trust the surroundings, they don't trust the people. You know, they
Yeah.
have their trust barrier right up there, and the only person they trust is the mom who's taking them to the nursery. So if you think about it, what does the nursery worker or the preschool teacher, whoever, wherever they are, what do they do to get the child's trust and, you know, let the mom let her go so she doesn't stay with them? What do they do? I mean, they may, I don't know if they actually do this, but they may speak to the mum privately and ask her, what does your son or daughter like? What do they like doing? If they like trucks, they could, you know, bring some trucks out for him for the next day to, you know, as he has that connection with trucks already, although he's in an unfamiliar area, he has that connection of trucks at home, trucks in nursery. So worst comes to worst, I'll play with these trucks. Or it could be something else that he likes doing. And the teacher will do these things so that they begin to trust him, and then slowly, slowly, the surroundings that he's in as well. And then obviously, it does take some time. It's not like well, depending on the child, you know, it could be
Right.
a one day, woohoo, fine, that's great. But sometimes it takes 1 week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks for the child to eventually settle in and trust the people there and the children and the surroundings. So yeah, this is from a child's perspective, you know, what someone else does to make that child feel comfortable. And the same principles relate to even, you know, to someone as someone knocking on a door salesman. What's he going to do to get your trust? Most of the time, people just slam the door in their face and that's it. I'm not interested. Whatever you're selling, I don't want to know. But if he says something where, oh, I think the first 30 seconds or the first minute is very important. If he says something where the other person believes that, you know, he's trustable, they're going to be open to him and they're going to say, okay, I can have a conversation with him. Let me invite him inside and see what he's doing and what he's selling, or, you know, what he has. Can it help me? So these same principles apply everywhere. You've got to have some sort of familiar ground and the surroundings as well. You've got to be able to trust the surroundings you're in, because that becomes your second home, if that makes sense, away from home.
Yeah. It totally makes sense. Remember how I was telling you that I go offline to share some of the opportunities I have with the businesses? And
Mm-hmm.
initially, when I started doing it, I wouldn't do any research on the company. Wouldn't do any research on the industry. I wouldn't do any research on the neighborhood. And I would walk in there and I would flop because I couldn't find a common ground. I
Mm-hmm.
would leave it to superficial. I'd go in there and be like, hey, that's a nice watch you have. Right? But and it's exactly what you're saying. you know, once I started doing that, once I started thinking, hey, how do I walk in here and teach these people, but not teach them in a, you know, in a rude way, like you don't know what you're doing, you're messing up, you know, but how do I find a way to bring, to, you know, to shed light on their business that they never thought about, because people are busy, right? And once I started doing that research, now once I walked in there, I would leave and they would be like, where are you going? I want more. Teach me more. And it was like, and that's the common ground right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Tina, any parting words?
Say?
Any wisdom? Anything good?
Oh yeah, you've done a really good job for now.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate your patience, Tina. I know that we're having a problem with the mic there, and you hung in there. That's perseverance. That's good right there. You got my trust. All right.
Yeah, and mine.
Beautiful. Okay, so then with that,
can I
we'll
quickly
say
just
goodbye,
say something?
right? Go ahead, go for it.
Can I just quickly say something? I was reading the book How to Win and Influence, you know, Your Friends by Dale Carnegie or something.
Yes,
and
phenomenal.
I came across a chapter. Yeah, I came across a chapter where there was a guy who works for a hospital, and he was getting flooded by people. I think they wanted basically the hospital to buy the X-ray machine or something like that. And so he was getting flooded by all these different people saying, oh, buy mine, mine's the best, this, that, the other. And one letter he received from a person, he didn't say, buy my X-ray machine, it's the best, it can do this, it can do that. No. What did he do? He basically wrote a letter to the guy's hospital, and he said, look, this is my machine, it's not up to scratch, but what are you looking for in an equipment? And he basically told that person what he's looking for. And eventually what happened was, because he made it seem like it was the guy in the hospital's idea for the equipment, he basically ordered it. He ordered it from him because he got exactly what he was looking for compared to other people thinking what he was looking for.
There you go. Look at that. Wow. That's powerful.
So if you apply this in business terms, like you were saying yourself, you're going to businesses and not knowing how to, I don't know, approach them or something like that. If you were to simply approach them in a sense where you're asking their opinion, what would it take for you to, or if there was a way for your business to expand, or if there were some products or tools or services, what would you be looking for? And then just take it from there. Obviously, they are going to tell you what they want, and then once you know what they want, you could provide to them.
Yeah.
Then they feel like you're helping them.
And then they've got your trust as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, everybody wins. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true harmony. I love it. I love it. Okay, my beautiful people, that's a wrap for today, right? Anything else? We're good to go. All right. Well, looking forward to get together again. We each put our information, because we're going to share the video, and if you want to get in touch with us, pick our brains, right, or just talk, just talk more about this, we're good to go. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, my beautiful people, have a great day. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Aisha. Love you all, and I will talk with you soon, okay?
Bye.
Everybody, keep growing, keep sharing, keep loving. Bye.
Bye.